Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. So we talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm your host, Jeffrey, and subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Now today, me and Buckeye Mike preview and predict every Week 5 XFL game.
Now for everyone's favorite segment every week for XFL coverage. So on Thursday, we've got undefeated, best team in the South, in my opinion, because of the undefeated teams left, best team in the entire league in Houston against Seattle. As much as it was awesome to see DiNucci be the first quarterback to reach 1,000 yards, I'm sorry, but I'm glad you got it last week because your yardage is going to be chump change this week. Houston defense looks great. It's always looked great. It continues to look great. The offense is just chugging along. I believe they don't have Max Borghi right now, and they still look good. I mean, you still put up 44 on Orlando, but you and me could probably tag team and still put up almost 50 by ourselves on Orlando. I'm going to go Houston 34, Seattle 18.
Now, I will say that looking at this game, there is the potential for an upset because it's at Seattle. That makes it tough, and they've been pretty good at home. And the fact that Ben DiNucci has passed 1,000 yards passing. He's played, really good football. And you've got Josh Gordon. So Seattle is dangerous, and they've been playing better. But to your point, Houston has been elite on both sides of the ball. Their offense and their defense has been really hard to stop. I think if you look at Seattle, the way they're going to win this game is if Ben DiNucci throws for over 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. He has a big game, and somehow Seattle can rattle Houston because Houston's had a relatively easy run of getting wins. Like if they get punched in the mouth a little bit, and they're down 7 and it's in the 4th, how are they going to respond? Are they going to slip up because they've never been down before? So I think all those things are going to come into play. I think that if Houston gets a lead in this one, they will definitely run away with it like they have been. But if Seattle can stay in the game, or even better yet, for them take the lead, I think they could put some pressure on Houston and potentially spring the upset. But I will go with Houston to stay undefeated. I do think it's going to be really close, though. I'm going to take Houston to beat Seattle 31-28.
So I'm just going to go ahead and go first from now on because, as we discussed last night, everything's kind of like it's obvious at this point who's going to, besides the one below the one we're about to talk about, it's kind of obvious who's picking who. Because
I can go first here.
Separation.
I can go first. I don't matter. Try to make it interesting still. Like we don't know. I can go first. So okay. You got this game right here. You've got St. Louis. You've got DC. You've got two teams that, are playing at a high level. DC's undefeated. St. Louis is 1 loss. But to a lot of people, DC is not as good, as the record would indicate. They're a little overrated, even though they have won all their games. I do think they're a solid team, however. I do. I especially think with the 2-quarterback system, they're starting to get that figured out, and they know when to use Derek King and when to use Jordan Ta'amu. But St. Louis has an actual quarterback in A.J. McCarron. And this game's at St. Louis. And you have the crowd. Like you said, there was a lot of fans at their game last week. I think that's going to make a big difference. Overall, I think that DC can get this win because they're a really confident team. And when a team's confident, it makes you even more dangerous because they are undefeated and they're going to want to stay that way. But I think that St. Louis is going to want to avenge the earlier loss to them. I think that St. Louis, with their home field advantage, is going to find a way to get this one done. I think St. Louis will win 27-23. I think that DC can definitely get this win and sweep St. Louis, but I do think St. Louis is not going to want to let that happen. So 27-23 St. Louis.
Yes, I can see it happening, but it's less likely. The fact that you have St. Louis refs, not DC refs. It's in St. Louis. St. Louis is out for blood. DC is fake good in the sense that they should have at least one loss
Mm-hmm.
at this point. And I think AJ McCarron, Anthony Betch, and everybody's just ready to punch some guys in the mouth, literally and hypothetically. I have a close game like the last one. I'm going to go Battlehawks 36-30.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The most anticipated crapper that we have ever seen. We got the Orlando Guardians. What do you mean Guardians? There's nothing to guard. And the Vegas Vipers. I think they lost their bite by prematurely biting somebody.
And it's on that field.
Oh my gosh. It's on a cashless field.
And it's on FX.
Well, it's on FX because of the tournament.
Well, I mean, for sure, I get that. But still, I mean, that's not going to help with the ratings for this game.
Nope.
Oh, man.
I think Orlando gets it done. I think they figure out a way to play on Cashman Field and pull away, honestly. Vegas just overall stinks more, in my opinion. It seems like they just can't get into a groove anywhere. They can't really play anywhere. Whereas Orlando has shown glimmers of we could be dangerous. So I'm going to go Orlando Guardians 30-10.
That's actually a little shocking. That's very interesting right there. I mean, you look at this game, both these teams are bad. I mean, that's clear. There's no way around it. But you do look at some of the stats, though. If you look at Vegas, they've been outscored 102-70. That's by 32 points. Orlando's been outscored 117-49. They've been outscored by 68 points. So that, to me, suggests Orlando's way worse. Now, I know it depends on the opponent. Vegas, maybe you could say, has played some easier opponents, but still, I mean, not really. They've had to play some tough teams early on as well. I think if you look at Vegas, I mean, they got the better quarterback play. Louis Perez and Brett Hundley are better than Paxton Lynch and anything else that Orlando has. They brought in Quentin Flowers, but he can't play for whatever reason right now. And DeAndre Francois, they won't play. Quentin Dormity's still in, the injury reserve list or whatever, basically barely on the team after what's happened with him. So you've got two teams that just have bad vibes. The field's bad, but I mean, it is Vegas' home field.
Yep.
For whatever that's worth. You will have some Vegas fans that are still going to make the trek out to watch their 0-4 football team hopefully win in the Tank Bowl. But I do think that looking at this game, I just think Vegas is a little better. I think Orlando's really bad. I think they have a good wide receiving core, but they don't have good quarterback play. And even though technically Paxton Lynch has played a little bit better last couple of weeks, it doesn't mean he's played well. And they've never played on that bad of a field. They're playing horribly on their own field, and then they're going to go out there and play on that bad field. It's probably going to make them play even worse. I'm actually going to go with Vegas 17-14 over Orlando. And if Orlando wins, it'll give you a shot to catch up a bit in the standings. But I'm gonna go Vegas 17-14. So right here, you've got the last game. You've got Arlington and San Antonio. I think that the XFL this week, technically, these games seem to be a bit more interesting, actually. You look at last week, and the games were really easy to pick. I think this week's are a bit tougher. I think the games are a bit more wishy-washy. Like DC St. Louis, I could see people picking DC. Houston, Seattle, I could even imagine people picking Seattle. Orlando, Vegas, that's a wash, really, at this point. And Arlington, San Antonio is a tough game as well. I think there's a lot of games that are actually pretty tough to pick, which could make for more intrigue and hopefully way more eyeballs somehow watching these games this week. But I think if you look at this game, Arlington is not impressive at all right now. I mean, they are 2-2, but they've been outscored by 19 points. But you look at San Antonio, they're 1-3, but they've only been outscored by 3. So you look at that. San Antonio is a worse record than Arlington, but they've been outscored by fewer points. That's insane. You would think that Arlington being 2-2, that they would have a better, points for them versus points for the opponent. But they've been outscored by 19, whereas San Antonio's been only outscored by 3. They've been really competitive. They've barely lost most of their games, and the one game they won, they were pretty impressive in. So I think that fact, plus you also have this game being at San Antonio, Jack Cohn at quarterback has been playing better than Drew Plitt or Kyle Sloter. I'm going to go with San Antonio to beat Arlington 21-18.
All right. Yes, even though with everything you've said, I still have faith in Slaughter. Slaughter is learning the playbook still. He's proven he can make the reads and make the throws and lead the team to victory and on good drives and all that. Granted, Slaughter hasn't really been tested yet. I don't think this is really a test in the sense of like it's not St. Louis, it's not Houston. So I think Arlington really has a chance here. I'll go ahead and go Arlington 24, San Antonio 23.
So I got a 2-game lead on you right now. But if you get both of these games right, it's a tie game again. Both of us have a tie record. But if I get both these games right, I'll have a 4-game lead, and that might be too much to overcome for sure. So I'm giving you a chance here. I had a feeling you'd pick when you picked Orlando. I went Vegas, and I had a feeling you'd picked Arlington because of Sloter. So I mean, I'm giving you an opportunity of a lifetime to catch back up here. This is it. It could definitely happen. But I'm definitely looking forward to these games. They should be really fun. And especially now with these next 2 games, whoever wins is very important for the standings and everything. We're gonna have to figure out like our exact record, because I know I'm 2 games ahead, but I don't know like our exact record overall. I have to like go through all the games again and see what our exact record is. But yeah, I got a 2-game lead, so you can tie it all up. So it's gonna be really interesting. Jeff, hey Jeff, he says, hey guys, good stuff for sure. And hopefully the XFL provides some good action this weekend. They need it. We're starting on Thursday anyway. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Comment down below what you think about the Week 5 XFL games and which teams you think will win. Follow me on Twitter as well, and I will see you next time.